we aren't getting a Code Veronica remake, and this is why. Also, watch at your own risk. There's some Resident Evil 4 spoilers. On March 24th of 2023, we received one of the greatest remakes in Resident Evil history. That being Resident Evil 4 Remake. It was an amazing remake. It was very faithful to the original, and I just had a lot of fun playing it. But due to this remake, it's looking very unlikely that we're going to get a Code Veronica remake. Specifically because of one particular scene. If you watched all the way through to post-credits, you will have noticed there were two cutscenes. The first one is what we're going to be specifically looking at in this case. It's the scene where Ada is escaping from the island with the Plagas on hand as she goes to drop it off to Wesker. She gets on a phone call with him and we get to see Wesker. And a few snippets of stuff that happens in Resident Evil 5. Like the underground facility and stuff like that. All just kind of hidden up on a screen, you know. It's a nice little Easter egg. Or is it? The way it's looking, Capcom's already kind of, you know, laid the groundworks that the next remake they're gonna do is Resident Evil 5. So, to all the people for years been asking the age-old question, when are we getting a Code Veronica remake? We aren't. From what it feels like, Capcom is kind of trying to erase Code Veronica from this timeline. Yes, I said timeline because the way it is, we have the canon timeline, which is from Resident Evil Remake and then all the normal games, and then Resident Evil Remake and then the rest of the remakes, which are all reimagined versions of the originals. I think it's already quite a popular belief that there's two separate timelines, but hear me out. They have done very little to acknowledge the existence of the game in these past remakes. One obviously being they're going straight to Resident Evil 5 Remake, so they're just kind of leaving now. And another is something that happened in the Resident Evil 4 Remake, and it's to do with Jack Krauser. In Resident Evil 4 Remake, we're given a bit of information about Operation Javier. For anybody that doesn't know, Operation Javier takes place in Resident Evil Darkside Chronicles. Sorry, it's still got stickers. I bought this in Kex. This was like the second Resident Evil game I ever bought, so yeah. But Operation Javier happens in Resident Evil Darkside Chronicles. This game is the canon story of Operation Javier, which features Leon S. Kennedy and Jack Krauser. One thing also about this is the T. Veronica virus is in this game. I'm not going to spoil too much, but they've changed the story significantly in Resident Evil 4 Remake, and changed Krauser's character and backstory a lot altogether. But we see the use of the T. Veronica virus, but in the remake they kind of cut it all out. It was changed to a story about Krauser losing all his men in Operation Javier, and no real mention of a T. Veronica virus, so it's safe to bet that they've kind of just erased that. Another thing I want to point out is that with the recent remakes, 2, 3, and 4, these are points where people are generally jumping into the Resident Evil games. A lot of new fans have come since Resident Evil 7 and Resi 2 Remake especially. And if they're starting off from Resident Evil 2 Remake, it's pretty much a good starting point for any Resi fan, because you don't really need to know any information on the Spencer Mansion or anything about that. It's pretty standalone for itself. And if you think like a lot of people are starting at Resident Evil 2 Remake, and then the continuation is 4, and then we're introduced to Wesker at the end, Wesker to them is a new villain, and he hasn't been mentioned in the 3 Remake or any of the modern Resident Evils, so to a lot of people, Wesker is a new villain. And I feel like Capcom's probably going to take more of that approach, and they'll probably try connect like Resi 3 Remake more to 5 than like the original, so you won't like need Code Veronica, like it'll be a whole reimagined thing. So that's just my 2 cents on it anyway. Now, saying that, do I hope we someday get a Code Veronica remake? God damn, I do. I love Code Veronica. It's a controversial title to a lot of people. Not many people are fans of Code Veronica, but I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. We need more Claire representation. Claire hasn't been given much representation these past few years. Now, in saying that though, I know I made a whole video about, oh, we're getting Resident Evil 5 Remake, and we're not getting Resident Evil Code Veronica Remake. But I do want to say one thing in particular that is going to be very hypocritical. while I would love to see these remakes, Capcom, please take a break on them. Resident Evil 4 Remake was phenomenal. We are finally starting to see the true extent of the Ori engine. Now, I don't know where these... I picked up sunglasses. I don't know why I picked these up. Guess I'm doing a Wesker cosplay. Whoa. 7 minutes. 7 minutes is all I can spare to play with you. Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is, you did a fantastic job on Ori 4 Remake, and if you could put that level of love into Resident Evil 9, I would be way happier than a few more remakes. And if you do make a Code Veronica remake or a Resident Evil 5 remake, you know, hats off to you, but I would just way prefer you put the level of effort and love into Resident Evil 9, because I'm very invested in that current story. I think I've made enough of my point anyway. I do hope you enjoyed. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Will we get a Code Veronica remake, or are they just gonna stick to 5? Do you agree with any of my points? Disagree? I'm always happy to hear others' opinions. It's just kind of how I felt with Resident Evil 4 remake, but it is what it is. If they make 5 remake, I'll be happy. I'll still be happy. Capcom has rarely let me down these past few years, except for Resident 3 remake, but I still love that game. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please do hit the like button, because, hey, you'd be cool. You'd be cool like me. Have a good one, and I will see you all next video. Peace.